one fake machetes were made of wood, right? The actors were supposed to slap on my face, boom, they go whoop, one line, and
Mm.
scratches my face, and then when it went down. I mean,
VR
hopefully
man
one
lah.
day I
You could
can
have been
meet.
VR man lah.
No way, dude. Not that kind of man, man. Are you seriously thinking that your platform is working?
Well, nobody watches this, so it's okay. And welcome back to Edric, Poon and Company, the podcast where anybody can inspire everybody. I'm Edric, and joining us this week is Mr. Sunny Pang, actor, stuntman, action director, and owner of the Ronin Action Group. You've definitely seen Sunny, right, in films such as The Night Comes for Us and Kill Fist, right? If you're on Netflix or perhaps even based in Malaysia, you've probably seen these movies. He's here to tell us more about his journey from acting to stunt coordination and eventually leading his own stunt team. Now, your job, right, isn't that bad, right? Unless you've got to get punched in the face every other day. Well, so we're going to talk to Sunny about that. And before we get to the podcast, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, for listening, supporting, and even subscribing to this channel. If you've got a topic that you'd like me to dive into, feel free, again, to email me or drop me a message on Facebook or comment in the video. Now, on to the podcast we go. Hey, hi, Sunny.
Hey, hello, Edric. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, thanks so much. Hey, now, just for context, right, for everybody who's listening out there, Sunny is
Yeah.
actually based in the UK right now, and he's in the
Yes.
middle of a production. Now, would you be at liberty to actually tell us what production this might be?
Well, this is actually a movie called Havoc. It's actually directed by Garrett Evans. If everybody know the movie that he directed before, The Raid, The Redemptions, yeah,
Mm.
and The Raid 2. So all this movie is actually, he directed it, and also Morantau as well. He's well known to that. And Gangs of London and Apostle, all this what do you call it, films and TV series. So yeah, actually, Gareth is actually one of my friends who I know back in 2014, which we supposed to, work together on the projects, but somehow something went wrong. It didn't work out. So after that, when we go almost before we go separate ways, he actually spoke to me personally. He said one day, whatever I'm gonna do, I'll try to find a spot for you. Then finally that this thing came up when I was doing stunt directing the time for Channel 8, and during this February he gave me a call and said, I have this project called Havoc with Tom Hardy, and I want you to be one of the cast. So I was just like, yeah, right, man. He said, yeah, yeah. I mean, how's your dates in June and all this and that? So we try to dig up the information, and it was kind of surreal for me, and it happens. I mean, I didn't expect to work with Tom Hardy and Forrest Whitaker as well, and also my close friend, my one of my not my close friend, my good friend, Yo Yen Yen, and I mean she was being casted as well. So and some of the big names, and it was very surreal, and it's a Netflix original film, and right now I'm here, in Wales and getting ready to shoot. So crazy, crazy time.
How does it feel, to be honest, right? I mean, you've mentioned great names, Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker. Now, these, of course, are huge names. And not only that,
Yeah.
you're now on Netflix as well. How different is the feeling and the model, right, of what it used to be from Masters of the Sea on, whether it was SBC or TCS or Channel 5 at the time? All the way till now, the model has changed so much in pay TV, subscription based, and everything is so much bigger on Netflix. Do you
Mhm.
feel that shift already going on to set, or is this something that you only realize when post production is complete?
I think the shift is inevitable. I felt because when they announced it, Netflix, because the shift was just like the shift is in a way that is inevitable because right now everybody has a device on their hands. You can watch movie. You can do basically a lot of things with your device, and then with your Android TV as well. I have a TV, LG TV, which basically you can watch all the Netflix and Disney Plus, even Amazon as well. So the thing is just that. The only shift is because of how you view content, whether it's on a big cinema or whether do you view it on your TV or even on your phone. So the shift is, like I said, inevitable. It's just that does it lose out the quality? That's my take. And it doesn't because the scale is really huge as well. Where I'm shooting right now in Wales, the set was just like I think we were in the whole what do you call it studio can pack up probably around 20 or 30 jumbo jets that big, and 90% of the shoot is inside the studio, and only 10% we do exterior shoot. But the shift is only in probably on the viewing, but the quality doesn't change. Is because I guess a lot of people outside of Singapore will still think that quality is still pretty much uh, keep as what it is before. Maybe the budget sort of down a little bit, but whether is it in terms of acting, sets, script, or maybe in terms of sound as well, or picture quality, nothing changed because they want to keep it in such a way that you can actually indulge yourself 2.5 hours or maybe 3 hours in your lifetime to enjoy a masterpiece in a way.
Mm.
So the amount of work going to it is not just by saying that I have a TV, there's something I shoot or a YouTube video, I call it get to entertain people. Yes, you might be, but you can never forego about quality narrative storytelling.
Now, based on the crew that you're working with, if you let's say,
Mhm.
for example, we were talking about standards, as what you were mentioning earlier on,
Mm.
what what are you bringing back from the UK back to Singapore or wherever it is your next project might be?
Bringing in the standard is not an issue because when you hear you experience a lot of kind of like the 1:10 ratio standards, you know. But the question is not bringing in, like I said, the question is were you willing to accept this as a new standard? That's my question to a lot of people over there because standard itself is not that we cannot achieve. We are by far one of the sophisticated countries in the world. Look at how the way we handle SARS. Look at the way how the way our airport looks like in our countries evolving in terms of financially, economics, and all these other things. Yeah, but the problem is just that accepting that kind of change is like, are you willing to see it, or are you want to see the data, or do you want to see the numbers? Numbers meaning by this one. Okay,
Mm.
it's very hard for certain people to break up the habits and break away from the comfort zone and try to adapt new ideas or system. It's not just a video cam shooting somebody talking, like that can already, cheap, cheap, never mind. It's more than that. If we keep thinking that way, we can never, never, ever be able to evolve as an industry itself. No disrespect. You don't pay a monkey to do a man's job. Yeah. And if you want to hire that monkey to do the man's job, you will fail. But then again, and also the other thing is just that we hate to accept failure as it is. And then we understand why we fail and evolve from there. If you keep on doing that way, that, oh, like that can't really, this is the way. I mean, slowly spoon feed, but don't know whether you want to do go left or go right. Okay, let's just say we have two extremes, but never in the middle ground,
Mm.
right? Everything has a way to solve if you really find the right people to answer that question. It's just like you, maybe yourself or myself, go and tell our uncle your chicken rice need to add this and need to add that. Chicken rice uncle will take the thing and throw at you.
Mm.
you know. So it's just like why are we having that? You want to accept new standard? You want to evolve as a whole, or what is your direction? There is never a clear cut. It's either extreme left or extreme right. Even right now, I'm trying to implement certain things like Ronin Action Group, my boys and girls. We have a different kind of set of standards from the other group. Not because we are better, but because that I need to protect my boys and girls. Yeah,
Mm.
it's not that easy saying, oh, just do this, just do this. I get paid very little. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is not the way I project it to be because we have to respect our own people. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't care whether what race you are. You come to my house, you are being looked after because you're being trained, and you have to be, of course, respectful to everybody else, because this is kind of fundamental's behavior is the attitude is very important towards your work ethics. Because when I was overseas, when I would see some of the work ethics, I was just say, wow. I mean, that was just very different from us. But then again, of course, our guys, some of them are actually very good as well. Not saying that we are all bad and everything, but it's just that the work ethicals in terms of not being fake, not being fake, not trying to like pretentious to be this way. Even in actings or other works as well, they go to miles to achieve a certain goal. But yes, it's a job, but then they are really passionate about what they're doing. I'm not
Mm.
saying I'm very, very passionate, but I love what I do as well. Okay? So where do we want to go from there? Are you seriously thinking that people are watching your stuff? Yeah. Are you seriously thinking that your platform is working? You know?
Well, nobody watches this, so it's okay. It's okay.
The thing
I
is
don't even
just
know how many
that
subscribers we have, but nobody watches this. So honestly, you
uh,
came here just to talk to me. But
no, no, no.
yeah,
I
but
mean,
I
I'm not
love
mean.
the point that you're making. I love the point that you're making because at the end of the day, we do things for passion. Passion fuels us, but it doesn't necessarily pay the bills. And not only
Mm,
that, when we talk about standards, then it becomes the perception of standards. It becomes, why this person gets paid millions and millions of dollars, and this other guy who takes all the bumps only gets a couple of $1,000s for cracking his head on the floor. And
yeah.
insurance doesn't even cover it for some places. I mean, when you look at the stunt groups of the 80s and 90s, right, how badly it was done, how rough it was for all these other guys. Extras were being paid. I mean, when you watch all the back behind the scenes footage of the old 80s and 90s movies, right? Don't talk about the Western ones. Look at the Asian ones.
Mm,
I mean, these guys are falling on just cardboard boxes. The
yeah.
bengohap. Jackie
Thank God.
Chan was
Yeah.
always very famous for falling on all the fruit boxes, all the apple boxes, and foam balls and peanuts and whatever. And
Mhm.
yeah, but at the end of the day, his guys didn't get paid that much as well. When he started out, he didn't get paid that much as well. Is that
Yeah.
something that you had also gone through? Not just as an actor, but as a stuntman.
Yeah, as a stuntman, that where I started off, I think back was 1994 or 95. So
Hmm.
that time, I was new, and then I was selected by one of the Sifu Poon. He actually see me stretching and everything, so he asked me to come over. So I started a bit of training, not really a lot. So after that, few days later, I go on set and do my shit. Right? So during those days, our payment was okay. I mean, compared to right now, because we're talking about probably $100 per day in a way, yeah.
Hmm.
In example, I mean, during back those days in '90s, $100 is a lot of money.
$100 was good.
Yeah, $100 is really good. We are comfortable. You can make something out of it, and you can probably survive it if you probably just work like probably 10 or maybe 20 days of it. You probably sometimes we can even double if you do something crazy. But the only thing lack out is just that once you get injured, they only pay you maybe sign triple of the payment, and that's it for that day itself. And there is no, let's just say, your insurance coverage, nothing. Of course, during those days, the people were still trying to evolve because the budgets and so on, and TV series were still trying to evolve. But '90s was one of the best time because even though we worked very hard, but the reward is just that you see quality stuff, even though it's not fantastic. But during those days, the standard is really really good. Like you have different genres, you have different storytelling, and you have multiple different faces of actors rather than right now just pancakes all the time, same pancake face, you know.
Right.
And you sort of like it sort of like fulfill your fantasy being in the movie set and or films of TV set. It doesn't matter
Yeah, it's
what
true.
it is. And the thing is, yes, we do get kicked in the chest. I do get whacked in the face, stuff like that. There even one fake machetes who made of wood, right? The actors were supposed to slap on my face, boom, this way, right? But instead he turned to this way, the straight point, where it's made of wood and go foop, one line and scratches my face and then when it went down. My Sifu, or the stunt director, Puncho, wow, they come here. Wait, 拍開啊，唔係割開啊, no, all this. He even scold the actors as well.
Mm.
So the actor was just like, but still, during those days, the actors are all trained as well. They pretty much very intelligently willing to try, willing to learn, those kind of things as well. So hand in hand, accident is inevitable because it's part and parcel of being a stunt person. But then again, you sort of see the reward of it and you're satisfied. But the only thing that you don't have is insurance. There is
Mm.
not much of it because I'm a part timer, but I'm almost like a regular part timer, so to speak. So every now
Right.
and then I even do part time acting. I'm considered a D grade actors in a way during those days. Yes, it is. It is.
Ah,
Uh,
very interesting, right? That you said that your seafood just saw you stretching and said, "Hey, come and do this." So, in other words,
yeah.
you were literally pulled into the stunt world. It's not something that you went, "Wow, this looks really cool," and I love to do all this stuff.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be called because that set was, I think, one of those period kung fu TV series, and I
Mm.
was one of the actors to hire to be playing a role. So, but before because I was called in and because I want to make a bit of money, I was preparing for a tournament to stretch and because I do Sanda, the
Mm.
sparring, this and that. So I was getting ready to go for really full on training. So I was stretching, and then so the seafood was just looking at me and said, "Hey, 兄弟，你識功夫啊?" He said, "You know kung fu?" And I know kung fu. I used to do boxing, this and that, but that I my flip I cannot do very well, but I can do certain things. During those days when I haven't injured my leg that time, I can kick very high. So I said,
Mm.
"Hey, come on by and see us. We need some part timers to fill in as a stuntman." So I did. So that's how I get into it. I was just like, huh? Yeah, I told my mom just like, oh, this some director talked to me just now, want me to be in it. Say, go and make some money lah. I said, okay. I didn't expect anything
But
like that to happen. Yeah. So I
nice.
just get
And then
into it.
as you were going along with that, right? Did,
Hmm.
when I would assume that you got hooked onto it, and you really bit in, and you started enjoying the process. And as you start to enjoy the process, you dive deeper, and you start looking at inspirational models, who I should follow. What, hey, this looks really good. That person does it really well. Who are these people, right, in the industry? Or were you looking internally within the Singapore industry or Malaysia side, or was it all based in Hong Kong, Asia, or was it more of the West?
I think for me was during that time, during the 90s, that time we have quite a few standards. Of course, that I also wanted to be a hero in a way. I mean,
VR
hopefully
man
one
lah.
day I
You could
can
have
make.
been VR man lah.
No way, dude. Not that kind of man, man. That was like a disaster, man. I mean, when I watched it the first time on the TV, off the TV, please. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
The
like
only thing
crazy.
worth watching was Lisa Ang, I think, at the time.
Yes, yes, that she is like one of the hot chicks. So for me, the
At the time,
standard
yes.
was Samuel Hong, my
Hong
idol,
Gampo.
Hong Kampo, Sing Long, Yun
Mm.
Biu, uh,
Oh.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, and then
Oh.
show one of this Japanese ninja guy. I couldn't remember his name. So all these standards that we look into, but mainly because when I look into Hong Kampo, it's because of his camera angles. Okay,
Mm.
the way he fight, even though he's so fat, he can almost fly. And I managed to take a picture with him a couple of years, 2 years ago, in a film awards that he was awarded to. So Sing Long is because of the stunts, how the way he does it. Because that when you do being a stuntman, you're always trying to look for something to look into and to try to model after it. Why does he do it? Or what kind of repercussion would you receive? If you do it wrongly, the timing. You always try to capture up timing. So I always buy, not buy, I rent all these like back in the 90s. There's this video rental shops, and then you go and rent your video. So you watch it over and over again, just to like, oh, this moment. So you press reverse, pause, stop, and then watch it again. Also, this. You self-studied yourself, and then because when I first began, I didn't really successfully do a lot of good stunts until I realized, okay, what to do, this and that. It's always almost on the job. So my seafood, they say, why don't you try to go and get some videotape, watch a lot of action movie, TV series, then you understand. So you get hooked in it, because during that time Hong Kong was one of the best, and I always love Hong Kong TV series, you know, Hong Hei Kun,
Mm.
uh, what do you call it, a lot of things, Fu Zhe, a lot. So you keep on watching and then you understand, how good they are. Well, but you during that time, the Western one is okay. I like Star Wars and everything, but when it comes to fight, they were the pinnacle of everybody else. Hong Kong side. So
Yes.
I was, of course, as a Chinese, you really praise, oh, Chinese can do this. So you try to model after that, you know, that never say die, you know, that never go like gutless or whatever. Because there was one time I need to jump from one end to another, an explosion from, I think, from 3 floor. So we have to like explosion from the window, we fall out and crash into the crash mats. So my seafood, they said,
3 floors.
so 3 floors with the explosion behind our back. Yeah, that's okay. I jumped 8 floor before. So once they explode, so you have to jump, dive down, and then the cut box, everything will be down there. And you need to, in the mid end, you need to turn to present your back and slam onto the cut boxes. So which we did, right? So I was kind of like worried and everything, probably miscue or something. But the space is all pretty much covered. All the boxes, they take a lot. So every time when we help to stack up the box at time, I was just like, holy shit, man, these boxes really can hold. You kind of worried. Then after that, you have to ask Poon my seafood, said, 得唔得啊潘長？高啲，放多啲. Okay, so we put a lot, put more, a lot. So okay, we're up to a certain level, but still you just worried. So after when you go all the way up to third floor, you look down. Then they said, first you look at the point where you want to fall, and then just leap yourself into it. And then don't stiffen up your body because it looks bad. At the same time, that don't think so much. Just see where you go, jump into it. You'll hit the point. Maybe you miss a little bit, but then again, at least you keep yourself safe. Because if you go too much to the side, you will stray, fall to the side, and you probably hit the concrete floor. So after that, I was just standing down there and look. Okay, ready? Okay, explosion. One, two, three, action. Then jump out, boom, fly, and fall, boom. But after when you land, boom, a lot of things, right? Actually quite fun there. Well, can we do one more time with it? Just like nuts, man. Then after we just hope to hear do one more. But after that he said, okay, 得啦，OK， 得啦，真嘅得啦，係啊，得啦，快啲啊！哎呀，
冇嘥菲林啊 Film is
冇使俾菲林
expensive.
嗰啲。Yeah, not film is actually what do you call it? Recorder. So the thing is just that this is how during those days that it becomes like an enjoyment,
Mm.
because even though the explosion boom just really look very epically, looks very cramped. After we look back, play back and see the monitor, was just like, wow, this is fun. But then again, your heart was racing. But after when you really focus onto that one point, everything all just locked in, and you try to discard whatever it is, because during those days we really listened to our seafood, you know, the stunt director.
Mm.
So we pay attention. We got no, we when we free time we just talk shit, and then after that we don't have that phone whatever, or we just focus. Those were the days. Was wonderful.
Yeah, that's one hell of a life lesson, I have to say. I mean, all this is really do or die to some extent. And when it's crunch
Yes.
time, you're focused, you aim where you need to go, you deviate a little bit, never mind. But as long as you hit the target and you're
Yeah.
safe. But
Yeah.
it's one hell of a life lesson that it's so um, it can be translated to any facet of your life. I
It
really
is.
do
It
think
is.
so. And is that a certain discipline that you also like personally keep very close to you. It's one of those things that you probably don't think about, but subconsciously it's there. You know what I mean? Is this something that you always have in you?
I think over those years when with working with the stunt people from Hong Kong, of course they shout and scream at you if you do
Yeah.
wrong. But after that, right, there was one time like we make these mistakes when we're not supposed to eat first. The lunch came down and then we eat first. So my seafood came up. Why? How come you eat first? People haven't released lunch yet. Why you eat first? Scold us really hard and everything. We are on set, but then again, I look into it just like I feel very offended in such way, in a way that we're just hungry. Why just like ill treatment? But after that, we stopped work and then he came down and then we were driving. He said, "Why, Sonny? Why you up What's all you trying? Give me a lift. Give me a lift out." And, just like and after that, you realize that you realize that this job is a job. After scolding you, after private life is two different things. And you always need to segregate that professional and private. At the same time, that why he said he also teach me that just now what you do this and that, you don't deviate, so you focus on that. I do that all the time because if you want to go to that spot of where you want to stand, slightly slide a little bit, it's okay, but it's still the same marker. You know, sometimes it's not the house that you stay, how big and how wonderful. Yes, maybe your target is a penthouse, whatever, but you have a house, you still meet your mark. Whether it's a penthouse, whether it's a house, it's still a house. I mean that obviously there's circumstance or that you need to face. It becomes that your dream does not achieve in such a manner, but you reach to a point where your target is.
Mm.
That's what I always do. But of course, a lot of actors or myself wanted to be the top dog or things like that. Everybody does in this industry. But as time goes by, it wasn't the case. It was just supporting role, more supporting role. Sometimes if I'm lucky, I end up in a leading role. That's okay. But then again, I'm willing to accept it because the thing is just that it also pays my bills at the end of it. And of course, the weight getting bigger and bigger, go higher and higher because I don't care that much anymore. I just wanted to use my passion to really act it out as that character what I was being asked told to do. So you don't see yourself like, oh, you always want to do the good guy because you look a certain ways. Therefore, our product becomes predictable. That character that I play is predictable. Maybe I
Mm.
play a lot of villain role or whatsoever, antagonist role, but it doesn't matter. There's always flavor behind each and every character. I'm not spoon fed in such a way that you are handsome, you're supposed to be the good guy. You're ugly or you have tattoo, you mustache, you're the bad guy. But then that's like when I watch other successful story like Korea, their story is always very compelling. It's just that they understand what normal Joes are look like. Yeah. So why are we doing the same thing? And then the direction is correct because we need to talk about human story, not your prosthetic makeup story. You know,
Mm.
normal Joes like you and me, which is like I don't think myself look good because my target is just that I just want to be a character actor. Okay, I've been in like seven character in one film. I've been in like being a prisoner in one film, a jailbird. I've been a pervert. I've been all kinds of things. But I enjoy the process. But what I get in from there is just like I understand about humanity more. Because when I read through the script, sometimes if this really happens to me, how will I feel? I look at normal Joe's life. You know, and is this about me with a Ferrari or maybe a Lamborghini? After that, I'm getting all this. No, it's just like I'm more interested about that human life, or maybe Singaporean. Sometimes you look at fellow Singaporean. I look at a lot of Singapore good actors and actresses who work their ass off. Okay, they are not the supermodel type, or maybe though some of them really very pretty, but or really good looking, but they're not given the chance to excel in what they do. Now, what happened there? You know what I mean? I mean that some of them I do take in students, very few of them. I also tell them that go to the market that where you want to be. It may take a longer time, right? But then again, you hit the marker. The most important, either hit the marker or saying that, or you must do what you project to do. You can, but then again, to be honest with you, come to the end point, it might disappoint you a little bit by make you more happier than you expected. Because sometimes it's about what you project deep down inside may happen, but it may not happen exactly the same way you projected. But then again,
Mm.
be contented of what you are being given. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Appreciate the journey lah. The end result may differ. Results may
Yeah,
vary, as what they put on
yeah.
every vaccine at this point in time.
Well, it all depends on your body type also. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking a lot more about the acting process as well. Now, I did want to also find out like that transition, right, of your journey from stuntman to becoming an actor. What was that shift? And all of a sudden, it's not often that you hear, oh, a stuntman wants to become an actor. Is it because they don't think they have the chops for it? Or is it just a completely different skill set and interest level altogether?
Mm, for me, actually, back in 1999, I actually quit the whole industry. So after that, when I come back that time, it was actually my good friend Keegan Kang, as you interviewed him before. Uh, ex-girlfriend actually introduced me to one of these directors who were actually looking for an actor to play in a film called Pearl of the Gara Massacre, a pimp. So at first that he said, nah, man, he looked a bit too skinny or whatever. He said I'm too skinny at my workplace. So, but then again, after a few days later, they actually give me a shot anyway. And then I acted into it. I really tried out. And I thought, hey, it's kind of fun because the way a film set was being treating artists or actors are very different.
Mm.
So I just like, and you are allowed to curse and swear, which is a good thing because normal Singaporean does curse and swear because you're talking about normal folks. That's where when I start reading the script that time I started to get interest. So I get back to acting again, and ever since I never stopped my journey. It has somehow triggered me going back to the same industry again because I don't know when you embody characters at time, you sort of like discard about what you really are, but just trying to live in that fictitious world, fake world that they're being created on screen, which is like after the end result, I kind of feel satisfied because you can hear audience applaud and everything. Or during the premiere, there was one thing I need to say. During the premiere of Pearl Geylang Massacre, my wife was sitting next to me, and I'm sitting here, and next to me is actually Ma Bao Dan.
Wow.
Then I look at it, Ma Bao Dan is his wife, and when I turn around, oh no, hello sir, hello sir. Yeah, I look at my wife, Xiao Liao, Ma Bao Dan sitting next to me. I curse and swear in this film. I was just like stressed, man. And then also there was one scene that I was beating up a officer in a reservist scene, beating up an officer collapsed. Said, "Wow, xiao liao tao." Said, "Never mind, I just watch." But when it come to those kind of scene that is really funny, is really dark humor and everything, the audience applaud, applaud, laughing, and then really feel that they belong to that situation. Sometimes,
They
of
can
course,
relate.
back in the army, can relate to it in reservists that you really want to beat up some officer, which is damn loud. What I mean? I mean that those kind of things that I mean that fortunately Ma Pao Tan, I can hear him giggling, so which is a good thing, you see. So that rewards me as a performer, which I did something great. I'm not the lead, but then at least again people applaud to it. Yeah. So that time I thought that I might be able to get more jobs and everything. No, 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 no. Reality bites, man. There was zero job, uh, not much of recognition. Oh, maybe a few article here and there, but that's it. Of course, there was also this article in Straits Times wrote about me in one of the columns saying that I'm the I'm one of the rough diamond that should if they cut into properly it will be a diamond. So in a way that I feel very satisfied. I mean happy that to hear people really give me some good compliment in such a way. But reality bites hits me back to the floor. The question was just that because there's no income whatsoever, and I was married at that time. I was having a house, and then after that, not long after, I was retrenched because that time, not COVID, SARS hit and
Mm.
everything. So it's kind of like very difficult during those days. Yeah. So I experienced it personally, the hardship. But then again, after that, I tell myself that to stay or leave. There are twice it happens this way. The other time was just that two of my students committed suicide back to
Oh.
back. Yeah. And then was just like, there was a lot of problems, a lot of like, what have I done? So there's a lot of question raised of what have you done? Is it the path you want to do? There's always this questions about yourself, yeah, about what you're leading up to. And then suddenly, and I still carry on, and suddenly court of law happens, you know, and then hit shot happens, night come for us happens, and right now this happens. Have it happens. It is how far you want to stretch yourself, and do you have the endurance to do it? Of course, life is ups and downs, whether you like it or not. Especially in Singapore, where the place where we come from, maybe there's a sense of recognition, but there is no embody of volume of work for for artists or actors or performers alike. You know, we proclaim that there is so much of this to help raise up the whole thing about the art scene. Really, you are either extremely left or you either extremely right. Why do we not meet in the middle? They say that Singapore cannot market this. It's just like you're telling me that you haven't tried to jump into the pool. By looking at the pool, you say that it's cold, right? Of course, failure is inevitable. It's part of the process. If you really think that kiasu or everything very safe, 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 good for you. But then again, the safe does not make you evolve.
Mm.
You know, it's just like the way we train in martial art. Like that time back in those days when I get whacked in the face, my sifu said, people will always talk. They think they know so much because they learn so little, and they always talk.
Mm.
Without getting beating up on the face, you don't know what it's like, and because you don't know how to move properly.
Yep.
So you get all this beating and everything, and then you start to realize that martial art is actually not about beating other people. It's what you can take.
Mm.
And then once you receive it, you know what to give it like in terms of life in general we're talking about. So with that being said, right, so life hitting me very hard a few times. And then my mother passed away. Yeah. My mother passed away. I promised her to red carpet, but it never happens. And that's what my greatest regret in my life. Yeah.
Mm.
So a lot of things, and then my kids, and my wife gave birth to second kid, third kid, and fourth kid. All these are my what do you call it, comfort zone. They are my comfort zone. But then again, living away right now for a couple of months, it takes a toll to my wife and kids. But then again, this is what I can feed, what I do good at to feed my family. But if we really think that we can create something to support one another, which we can, because I can tell you that that's what Korean did to their cinema. They have the actual data. Okay, back in 1997, the big economy crisis hits every single one. So
Mm.
all these people in Korea really collected data and so on to try to see what are the things sectors that can actually enhance. Because during those days, we know South Korea is a travel destination, but Japan was the top of the town. And then when all these things comes in and the Japanese, the Korean people or film industry, whatever you call it, or Ministry of Finance, understand and receive the data. So try to invest properly with the right people, not with any graduates, okay, with data and everything. So one these things hits. I remember watching this film called Shuri. This movie was made budget of 4 million. Domestic market make over 20 million US and then sell worldwide as well. Then I look at the Korea history and then people start to evolve properly. And what have we done? Yeah, we have one film that makes 6 million. Oh, yeah, yeah, already. And then after it makes everything the same thing, you know. So what? Why? Why is that? Why do we limit ourselves? You know, oh, Singapore cannot do this. Never happened to this. It's called fiction. It's called creating jobs. You know. So I don't know. Maybe I talk too much. Yeah, it's just that this is how the way I feel about the whole industry is moving towards.
Mm,
There's a lot of
agreed.
talks, but no progresses.
Right. You know, there was this, I don't know whether you came across this thing. Somebody actually wanted to make an action film and he put it on Kickstarter or GoFundMe or something like that. This was quite a number of years ago. Did you hear about this?
Yes, I saw this.
Yeah. At the end of the day, target was not hit. There really wasn't enough backers to actually move it forward. But yet, this model, right, was done years before that by another solo filmmaker. I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's the most awesome movie I've ever seen. It's called Kung
Ring of
Fury.
Fury. No,
Kung Fury.
Kong Fury. Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Okay, it's available on YouTube and all that. And this was years ago. It was done by Laser Unicorn
Yes,
Productions, I think.
there's a unicorn.
And
Yeah.
amazingly, everything was shot in the guy's basement. He put the
Yes.
trailer up as a VFX
Mhm.
guy. All of a sudden, it became a full length feature film and was Kickstarter based, right?
Mhm.
So they had a great product. They had a great,
Mhm.
um, an amazing product. It just was, right? The fact that you've got Hitler, time travel robot, and the 80s. Okay, great. All
Yeah.
done. It's there. You got my money, right? But the issue right now is that is it because we don't support certain things, or at least I will say Singaporeans in general, we don't support it uh, many a times because it doesn't apply to us. We don't see that it could come out to be amazing. Like there's some skepticism or cynicism to the whole thing. And one
Well,
of the things that you actually brought
mm,
up before we started rolling as well was that why is it that Singapore we don't have our own action movies?
mm. Okay. First of all, I think that it's not Singaporean don't support. We are all educated adults
Mm,
because Singaporean can tell the differences like between the quality and factory product. Okay. Of course, there are some complicated things like you want to watch. We also spoon fed. Sorry, we also spoon fed like Hollywood stuff at the same time foreign stuff as well. And suddenly all the TV series that what we have started deteriorating. Back in the 90s, there was everything was up. Phua Chu Kang, all those like under one roof lah. All
mm,
those really good TV series was really striking. But suddenly it went down. So, but then again, when all the junks keep piling up, people see the same thing over and over again. Obviously, when you see the same thing, the same kind of genres, there's no varieties like the olden days as. Of course, people will just start to turn their heads around. Okay, they will start to compare what quality, what's not, because we have a nose of quality ourselves. And look
mm,
at the place where we stay right now. It's all kind of quality. Yeah. So it's all boils down to like, why do we have such a this way when other people are already doing this? Humans, whether you like it or they started to compare. Yeah.
mm,
What is good, what is bad. Because that's what we are. Like I said, so to evolve in that mindset, not that Singaporean doesn't want to support you. Okay. They do support one another, but it's just that you have to fight properly. You don't ask me to pay $10, but ask me to watch a clown show. they're going to say this, whether they like it or not. Because if they are good, of course they support you. Yeah, they will definitely support their own locals. Not that they don't. Back in the 90s, during the football time, the Malaysia Cup, basically the whole Singapore was lighting up when the Lions was what do you call it,
Malaysia Cup.
picking football in the Malaysia Cup in Malaysia.
Mm.
Everybody turned on the TV and you can hear shouting from every single corner of Singapore. Why is that? What happened now? You know what I mean? They're about to have quality control. Is one of them. There's no QC. Everything is very systematic. You know, oh, this formula equals to this, and that's it. We don't dare to advance forward and look into ourselves and say that we can push the boundaries a little bit.
Mm.
So that's the only problem that we face. At the same time, that if we keep like I said, if we keep doing that, there's nothing. You scared this, scared that, too violent, scared complain, scared Amma fainted off. All this kind of scared, and then why? About to have complaints, we have to please those people. But where do the complaint come from? We do not know. Because you're not
Right.
announced, you never put in to like when sometimes you go to Facebook, people write complaints, whatever it is. You see there's a lot of people attacking him, that person. But because you receive a complaint by so-called public, then this happened. Okay. If let's just say about something really horrible, of course, that's no.
Yeah.
But if you're so afraid of all this complaint, then why are you allowing Netflix and some of the shows from the US or maybe foreign country to be that violent, but not to yourself? Oh,
Right.
they are like that, we are not like that. You think that they are really this way? No.
Mm.
It's all fiction made up. So ultimately, it's just that there is no sense of good directions in this industry.
Mm.
You can allow the extreme of art film, extreme of like cocky commercial, what do you call it, slapstick show, but there's no in between. But when somebody win the what do you call it, award, everybody says, "Wow, you're my family, you're the this, you're the this." But deep down inside, we know actually what happened. Of course, as a filmmaker, yeah, maybe that's not what they are because we just simply don't watch that kind of program. You know, it's not because we don't want to watch, but honestly, my question is this: it's good that we win awards. My question is this: I always ask myself during my headshot world premiere, a lot of people, a lot of fans, and you know, I got handshakes with fans and everything. Nighttime, when I sit down by myself in the hotel room, my question was this: though, what is next? Is this the pinnacle point? That's it. And what about family and maintenance? Maintain the course of our course of action. So there is no this advancement to higher level. It's always that this way. Like right now, the thing is just that where Ronin Action Group is, my pinnacle is just that maybe I just let the guys do because they probably have better ideas. Because then I will just sit behind the chair and try to like direct here and this a little bit. They will give suggestion, or maybe they'll do it. I'll leave them to do. Because you got to understand that when we grow age older, our minds will get. Not saying we are going slower. Yeah, we can lead, but then again, we do not stop people from evolving
Mm.
because ultimately we are still in the same boat. You know, why do you stop people from evolving? You don't. If you can, you do the job. You get paid. We'll try to raise up the bar for you. We get higher paid. That's good. Because
Mm.
the thing is just that it's not just about just about oh this is the level, that's it. You are limited yourself by going higher because why you're such a loser when you know you can win. You know what I mean it's kind
Right.
of weird that of course that there are some idiots around. It's all about themselves. I know, like I do this few years only, I become the leader, I become this and that. But you seriously know there's many other things as well. And it's all about right now the generations, not all of them, but are very self-centered rather than looking to
Yeah.
the overall pictures. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely. So when you're training all your guys, right, like what you're mentioning, you want them to evolve, you want them to learn, you want them to
Yes,
take the next step forward to not
yes.
just be the next Sunny Pang, but
No,
you don't want clones of Sunny Pang. You want whoever you are to do really, really
yeah,
well for yourself and do it in your
yes,
style. It's not
yes,
following my style.
no.
So about Ronin Action Group. Now you moved again from stuntman to actor to stunt coordinator. Now you're an action choreographer and stunt director as well. And you've taken lead roles, right? Now then of course you've opened up Ronin Action Group.
Yeah.
What does Ronin Action Group stand for?
Uh, Ronin in Japan is salaryman in the modern terms, right? In
Mm,
the olden days, those ancient days, they're just like samurai without a master.
yeah.
Okay, so they are like masterless samurai in a way. So when I started this group, I looked for a right name. So two words came in: rogue or Ronin. So I think that Ronin sound better. So I put in Ronin. The starting of Ronin is because that whatever knowledge that I have that I was being taught in Indonesia, and when I met my second master, Alip, he's also from Hong Kong, he taught me a lot of things. He asked me, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna act forever? You're gonna fight on screen forever? He said that are you seriously going to do this forever, this way, or you just focus on one line, or do you have multiple ways of earning money? He said that most importantly, remember this: your ego has nothing to do with yourself, because that you need to understand. So behind you, there's a group of people. That's your family. You need to think for them. So if you have your ego around and it may not work, then what about your family? What is your fallback plan? So I sat there and think about it, and just like, wow, that's a good idea. So I said maybe producing or action directing is a good plan. Maybe you should start a company, do something. Yeah. So that's where I came about. I started my own team. There was previous team, but then there's some problem happened. You know, some, like I told you, some smart people trying to run over you and try to take everything away, which is you can take everything away, but my mind's still here. So I
Mm,
started Ronin Action Group many years ago, like 2013 or 14, 14, yeah. So that's like, so I started this way, and my idea was just that we will teach you how to do stunts. We also teach you how to act as well on screen, so that you have two different jobs, two different sector to go. If you do good in stunts, you can excel with it. That's good. Or you can do acting. That's good as well. Or you can do both at the same time. That's good, because there is no what I call a restriction in terms of evolving. Then my Sifu also tell me that you are good in acting, you can excel it, but don't forget that you also have knowledge from me, what I taught you, to do all the stunts whatsoever. So then when it comes into to that, I know that I can excel to start the company to help my fellow own Singaporean, maybe to understand a bit more the standard that not in Singapore but overseas, to bring it back in Singapore to really make them evolve in such a way that hey, we can do so many things. Because in Singapore it's kind of hard. Everything is very expensive now, but the pay is not. And my CFO also said, remember to fight for your guys. Yeah, to fight for your guys, fight for yourself, fight for your family. Because that's what he says. Because it's very old Chinese mentality, very honorable
mm.
soul. Yeah, he came from way back in Shaw Brothers time,
Wow.
1970s. Yeah, I don't know whether you watch this 神雕侠侣,
Yep,
the
yep.
one
Which
with
one? The Andy Lau one? Ah?
Andy Lau one.
Ah.
Okay, that big bird, right? It's
Yeah.
him actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I said, huh, that's you. He said, yeah, that's me, man. I said, oh my
Sandio, ah.
God. Yeah, it was like 80s, 80s that he was that bird. So
Oh
that's
my
weird, man. I
gosh.
can't see your face. And yeah, it was so fun. I mean that, and then that's how he started his own business as well, evolving by himself, and that's where he was. But unfortunately, 3 years back ago, he passed on. Yeah. But then again, he
Yep.
passed down knowledge because I always talk to him quite often. and learn about things. He explained to me. Basically, he passed me a lot of knowledge. You know, he said you should one day direct as well. You should try to do different things. The kind of things that I receive and I cannot learn in school. No, no way. What I
Right.
received was a really a treasure to me knowledge. It's hard to find. So therefore, I'm handing out to some of my guys who are actually learning right now. As we speak right now, right, my guys back home is handling some of the stunt work for me. But of course, they'll get higher pay. And to be honest with you, sometimes I might not get a single cent. All the budget go down to the guys. So yeah, that's how it happens. But it's okay. But it's just part of life. You can't take everything, every single thing away. But to actually evolve, to see the company grow, they're about to have certain sacrifices. And
Right.
right now we are like 20 over people. So all the guys are trained in acting, are trained in stunts. Of course, not all of them are very good. Some of them are trying to evolve to take a bit of time. But then again, they are all very like-minded people. At the same time, that and it's always very fair. We take care of them every single one of them.
This is one of the questions that actually popped up as well about acting versus action choreography. Now, what you are doing with Ronin Action Group is amazing because it almost is a talent agency. Very much. Yeah, you think about it. That's what the K-pop factory is, right? We teach you to dance,
Yeah,
we put your team together, we give you the choreography, we get the music, everything, but you only start making money after you debut. It's not like that
yeah,
for your company, but you're teaching them acting, action, and I'm assuming that somewhat down the line, you're probably going to be sharing a lot of information in filmmaking as well. And that will come into
yes, we
your
do.
expertise and your passion into camera angles and all this. Now, on your
Yes.
end, personally,
Hmm.
from being a stuntman to supporting role to even taking a lead role and action choreography, do you sometimes what's the biggest shift that you really need to make apart from the physicality?
I think I can't shift anything much except for I bring along my knowledge so to enhance the performance of the actors, because that's
Mm,
what I would do. And then I see it gives me a pair of eyes to be a bit more sensitive towards the performance on screen, because I did that before. I know what you make the mistakes. I put everything together so I can see that in terms of the quality of the acting or the action parts during the action part acting, you have a sense of nose to tell that, okay, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Maybe this would need to tweak a little bit, that you need to tweak a bit. Maybe the camera
right,
angle is wrong.
right,
Also the timing that you only have, and what kind of training does the actor has.
right,
So all these things have to be accountable. A lot of people just say simply just action per se, but you discount about other abilities that or the accountable factors into that one single frame. Yeah, so that's my I think that's my gift for me, because then I do both, you see. So it's
right.
kind of
And
like very different. Yeah, go ahead.
and with your background in Sanda, right? Along with the other martial arts you do.
Mm.
Now, I'm a martial arts junkie myself, so I really, really
Oh,
do appreciate all of this. And you were going into the action choreography side of things. Did you start going down the rabbit hole of studying everything that you could, so that you could make something, whether or not it was for real life or it would look good on camera? Did you just start diving deep and going into the strangest things, like say for example the Indian traditional martial arts where they still have the saber and the shields? Those small little shields that they use.
yeah. I think that we do that all the time, and also thank goodness that my team has a lot of different talent martial artists as well, like capoeira,
Mm,
karate, um, Chinese kung fu, silat, all those kind of different variation, even Krav Maga as well, and knife fighting. So all these elements that give me the insight of what we can do. At the same time that there are certain things I cannot share, that's for sure. So that we see what we can channel out to do something great on screen for other people. The other thing is just that we wanted to do good, but at the same time that it's also depending on the performer themselves. Okay, but of course, like I said, the problem with Singapore, there always no time. Either they are lazy or no budget. Okay, okay. They think that by seeing that, oh, like that can already. Everything want to be miracle pills. I call them the instant noodle age.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not about going to deep down like we did. Really go deep down, train and train and train, and then go into perform and it looks good. A lot of
Yep.
people say, "Wow, your form is very good." Yeah, we train, man. Yeah, and then some people just swing. Got swing can already. It's not so easy. Yeah,
Mm. Mm.
some people think that, oh, I'm good looking. I can kick very split, or kick split, or I can do this. I can do it already. There are many factors in it. Whether you can do kicks or not. There's tens and millions of thousands of people can do the same shit as what you do. Yeah,
Yep.
but it's
Yep.
only take that whether do you carry the weight of that role. Okay, that's why the people always think that, oh, I can do this martial art, but
Yeah.
你得唔得啊？你個樣得唔得啊？你嘅氣得唔得啊？ you know,
Mm.
this is all the factor we need to account for in. So for us, we just that when we study all these things, bits and pieces of other different martial art, okay, we become a melting pot, and then we look what works, what don't works,
Right.
you know. So we need to put on different hats all at the same time. Sometimes maybe a scene, right? I can stress over like, wow, maybe one day I'll just sit in my com with my guys, and then we just think of it. Oh, okay, okay, go have coffee first. Don't think, just like you just jam down there.
Mm.
But then again, of course, like sometimes I just leave my guys do, and then I'll just look at playback. We do a pre-visualization. I say whether this work or not. I say okay, the camera works or not. Okay, can okay, because sometimes you need to see that you need to check the quality. I need to check the quality, and the guys need to show me what they have done. So whether I'm approved or that, that's not the idea. I will only give in feedbacks, and I say that this, maybe you try to do this. Okay, let's go back to the script again, and then let's take a look at the screen again, show it to the directors, and everything okay. Then okay, we move on.
Yep. Yep.
So, but also another question whether the performer, especially the actor, do their homework or not.
Mm.
Some thinking that, oh, like that can already. Oh, the actually execution different thing. Some say,
Mm.
oh, I got this martial art, that martial art. When it comes to doing it, wow. Next, you know, yeah, it's not that easy. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you can
like
actually start a sideline and say, hey, $80 an hour, I give you coaching. Come.
well, I
Sideline,
charge more
sideline,
than
come.
that actually.
Yeah.
And
Community
some
center
want to be
seafood, come,
Donnie
come.
Yen. Yeah, some want to be Donnie Yen. Thinking, oh, Donnie Yen this. Donnie Yen suffered a lot.
Mm.
Not easy.
Yeah.
He have
His
suffered
career in the
bankruptcy.
early 90s were very tough.
Wow. Wow. Oh my God. The
Yeah.
worst, man. Donnie Yen suffer a lot, and even though he has skill set and everything, he go through a lot.
Mm.
Some people, wow, immediately, but the face I cannot make it. Some of
Mm.
those I want to mimic him. They don't want to be themselves. They just want to be somebody else's shoes.
Right.
That
Right.
is that is so sad. For me,
Yep.
I'm not mimicking anybody. I'm myself. I
Yep.
like different animals in my playground. Different because maybe people don't know who is Zato Ichi, who is Sony Shiba, who is Samuel Hong, who
Mm.
is John Claude Van Damme, who is this, who is that. Because my kind of taste is very different.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, and it's just like
Our
this
days were
is what
different.
my tastes are. Yeah,
Yeah.
our tastes are very different. Yeah.
Correct. This brings us to a very, very good point. When you look at action in itself, action movies, action stunts, and all this, back then in the 80s, right, it was big movement, one solid hit. Everything is like, wow, everything had to be big, everything had to be strong. Everything had to have a certain large intent. No, back then it didn't even have intention. It was just big movements. There was no intention,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But now the fans, what we are actually looking for, and you look at and you see in all the great movies right now, is about realism, because
yes,
we want to see what's realistic. We want to see what relates to us, and what is effective, street
yes,
effective. You know what I mean?
yes,
Um, but in your eyes, right? I'm sure you've done a lot of film study. This is
yeah,
just for my own personal kicks. What do you feel?
sure.
What do you think is the most realistic fight sequence?
There are quite a few. Um, there are quite a few that I like. Raid Redemption, Raid 2 is one of
Mm,
the two raids. Uh,
The karambit scenes are.
Karambit Scenes is really one of the best ones. The other one I like is Extraction, which is really, really good as well. It really cater to see how combat in real life is going to look like. Of course, John
Mm.
Wick, the first one looks quite impressive, but after that, you look into it, it's just like, maybe there's certain things that just like up.
Got too
Other than, of
flashy, yeah.
course, yeah, too flashy. Of course, Donnie Yen, his very first, the first Fresh Point and
Flashpoint.
SPL, that two was one of my
SPL was
favorites. Yeah,
one
SPL
of the
was one of the best.
greatest stick fighting
Yes,
scenes and knife fighting scenes ever.
yeah, one of the best, man. So those are the more realistic ones that I like.
Mm.
But right now, there's as you see, there's a lot of spinning, jumping, flashy move. They're still around, but maybe those are good for Marvel movies, you know.
Mm.
But right now, if you look into Korea movies, you tend to look into they tend to look into approaching the realism of fights. What
Right.
happened? Because I used to work as a bouncer. I've seen fights once or twice, more than my life, and I've been to some of them as well. Well, which I'm not very good at it. But then shit happens. You go all hell break loose, right?
You're
So
still
you
here.
look into those, yeah. Well, you see those factored in, right? People will say, "Wow, this is look crazy," because it is like that. When things happen because they happens for a reason. I also understand that. I try to implement those things around, but then again, your fight is similar. Like, they sort of like comment in a way. But real fight is this way. But when you watch in a Korean movie or series, it's the same thing goes happen one way or the other. It's a dynamic of things that what you can use and also depending on the budget as well. So what realism, what people do audience to it as well. You might be flashy and everything, but I can see it on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then doing stunts is a little different thing. Crash into
Yep.
this, do into that. I mean, I jump onto tall buildings, I get explosion. I jump from explosion. I get knocked down by cars. I fractured my ribs. I, I have my back was shifted, my neck was shifted. I have all kinds of injuries, quite a lot. So those are the experience that we understand what to apply onto it. So it's not so easy said that, oh, action is like that only. No. Yeah. So those kind of action that what I mentioned to you, pack in the realism. Because why not audience goes for that. Yeah. So that's my take there.
Right. Okay. And if let's say for example, given a choice, assuming that budget was not the issue at all,
Hmm.
what would your Singapore action movie be?
Wow. Mm.
Would you do it in a let's say a period drama style? Would you do it in something futuristic? Um, or like, or would you reboot VR Man?
What?
I
Why?
love
Why is
taking a
that
dig at that
VR
show. I
man?
love it.
Well, hell no, man. Okay, now, I don't know why you bring VR man. It's such a hard to digest that.
No, I just love taking a dig at it. I just love. I've been taking a dig at it for a decade already. I'm still doing it.
Okay, now I will just put it in perspective in three films. Right? If I want to do a period piece, you'll be back in those days where during Second World War.
Mm,
Okay, I want to do Justified on that because certain heroes are not being mentioned, and we need to honor their name. Right now, the newer generation don't understand the word honor to our forefathers, to the people who saved this country or do something for us, and we do not honor their name, but we not do justify what was being told to us and how brave they are. If we're talking about VR, man, I will scrap. First of all, I'll scrap away that stupid costume, and I won't put VR man. I'll just put V. Okay, but I'll have him organic suit that looks really crazy, high tech and everything. And I don't do that stupid run and then the police. The first time I watched the movie, watched the series at the time, when they do that spin and run over, I jumped and said, "What the fuck?" That was a stupid nonsense. I will do away those things. I will just put him to, uh, I will put him to a situation that really people don't want hero, and a little bit of a local mindset of like against all these things. That because that generally people don't want you to kepo, especially the police and everything. So I wanted to put in a situation that is more humanizing rather than a superhuman strength or whatever it is.
True,
Now the
true.
third one for high sci-fi, I do have a concept. I'm working on towards a certain program now. Yeah, then I cannot review much right now with UK directors and local directors. I can't review much. It is a
Nice.
it is kind of crazy kind of concept, but it takes 100 years from now, and it's kind of crazy. So I hope we get it really. Well, I hope we really get the funding and do it, and you will see what we can do. So yeah, I
Awesome.
mean this three concept are what I think it should be. Of course,
Yeah.
I don't want my audience to pay $10 to watch a film that talks like comprehension. 今天你好吗？很好啊。哇哇，老呢，it's just like let me elbow you a little bit. It becomes like a comprehension rather than
Yep.
dialogue.
Yep.
I mean, I want them to be real, not trying to be too word for word. We have this kind of system that has really made me sick to my stomach sometimes. I said nobody talk that way. Why
Yep. The
can't you be a
written
bit
word and
more
the
like me?
spoken word are very different.
Yeah, very different. So just like, well, like even for code of law, I try, but the writing is good, so I try to be more normalized talk rather than
Mm.
just trying to like read between the lines, right?
Yep.
So that's one thing we need to forego that. We try to like maybe put in Singlish as well. I don't know why it feels so disgraceful to even talk Singlish on screen. It's not wrong. There is all this thing called subtitling. If we do something that we are not, then we're trying too hard to become somebody else's shoes, and it becomes not us. Why?
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. Why? What's the point? We eat rojak, we eat char kway teow, we eat mee rebus, we eat nasi lemak. You know what I mean? What's wrong with
Yeah.
that? But at the same time, that our theme, our conversation, our whole what do you call it? The movie need not just only fixed to local, but internationally as well. The genre films.
Mm.
I cannot agree to. I mean, of course, you have the art film. You're allowed to survive. You have the slapstick. Of course, it's good, but you need to meet in the middle as well. Everything too sideish is just like nobody want to watch, because
Yep.
we still wanted to. Because when we are young, that time we are feeding storytelling. Like when you're primary school, I'm in primary school. Teacher will come. Okay, storytelling time. Everybody just glue and listen to story, right? Because we love stories. That's what binds us. Right now, there's no story. There's Instagram. There's this. Try to be pretty. Try to be fake. 100 followers, million followers, and this and that. The talking crap. You know why? But then again, there are people still listen to story, and then listen to story. When we are young, we listen to story, and then we're just
Mm.
so intrigued about the storytelling bits. Now, right now, as we grow up, we watch movies that written from novel, written from comic book, or even from manga, or that thing. You're just like, wow, we can't unfold this whole mystery. You know what I mean? It's just like you're just looking forward to that episodes or to that chapter of that film. It's just like, wow, this is what actually happened. It might be the same, but still, we wanted to know what the ending is. We want to feel whole with the film. We want to spend that kind of time to be in that presence of that film. And you relive. Sometimes, do you find out yourself that you rewatch a certain movie again? I believe you do, right?
Many
Why you want
times.
to relive? Because yeah, many times, right? Because you want to relive that adventure again. You want to feel that what the hero comes up strong, but then again he never gives up, or maybe that the hero died, this and that. You want to feel that feeling because that's what makes us human. Because we have
Mm,
feelings. We have feelings that we look into things, we sympathize with them. Sometimes it has a certain lesson. It tells us things that look, it shouldn't be this way. We should have a much more perspective. Or maybe somebody stab you in the back, or things like that, or maybe karma. All these things that we sort of like learn from the movie that we watch. Right now, we
yeah.
don't have people talk about yiqi or honor. Not all about me and me and me only. When I look at it, I just say, fuck, I don't watch. you know?
Yep. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
you just like you don't want to watch, man. You just like there is no soul. Even some of
Yep.
the songs right now there is no soul as well. It's just penny or some sexy woman with big titties with lingerie dancing around, and then just so much noise and dum 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 dum. Wow, damn sian.
You know what this means, right, Sunny?
Yeah,
We're getting old.
well, well, I'm
It's a
old. I'm
fact. It's a
49.
fact. Hey, look, I don't understand EDM. I don't understand the rap music of today. I and hip hop
Mhm.
of today. I don't because well, at least the stuff we listen to is always like Snoop and
Oh
of
yes,
course you got Tupac and Biggie and all those other
yeah,
guys,
yeah,
right? You got Nate Dogg and you got G Funk and everything. This was back
yeah.
then, right? Um, but that had stories. Those had stories, right? But
Mm.
today, on the other hand, like what you mentioned, music on the other hand is very very different. Um, it just doesn't work for me. So I've kind of
Mm.
accepted that okay, it's probably me. I'm getting old, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to tell my son, turn it down. It's too loud.
yeah.
It's just a different generation. But I'm just glad to
Mm.
know that action stays as action. That one you can't
Yes,
run away. A punch is a punch, a kick is a kick. And that
yeah.
is a wonderful thing that at least you are in a trade that will last forever.
30 years from now, maybe 20 years from now, I'm still around. When I look back, I'm saying I'm still there. And people
Yep,
will either remember me or hate me. It's okay. Yeah,
correct,
we are
correct. And
immortals.
I'm just glad that at least you won't be typecast as the villain all the time. As what I think I saw an article online about you saying that you were one of the villains all the time, or you're the face of a villain all the time.
Yes, yes. It's okay. I mean, at least it pay the bills. But right now, I have offers for next year. There's many other things that offer me right now. So I'm looking into it. Hopefully that my boys and girls will follow me, Ronin boys and girls follow me to do the work. At least that they can have the first-hand experience and also get paid to do it. So at least they learn and progress because I'm planning my on-screen action retirement very soon, and some people have to take over. But then
Mm,
again, because your body only can sustain so much of injury, and as you grow
right.
old, you tend to deteriorate. Yeah. So some of them don't have to take over. Like hopefully, I can promote them and they'll be on screen for me, or I can sit behind the chair and just direct them. Yeah.
Right. That's nice. And that brings me to one of the segments that I love to ask about is,
Mm,
be it whether you're a martial artist or whether you're a
mm,
business leader or an owner of your own life, of course.
mm.
Now that you have people under you, you've got the younger ones that you want to teach. What are some of the key leadership and or at least what are the key values that you actually want to highlight to them, be it whichever realm it may come from?
I think that we do have in code of conducts and everything. Everybody knows that we need to be open-minded, yeah, to receive whatever is good, to discard whatever is bad, and to be like-minded as well, to learn things as it is. Because sometimes you hold too much of tea in your cup. You want to pour in some other liquid, it becomes something else. But why not empty it and try to pour in knowledge into yourself, and then know to learn things. Of course, nothing is perfect because film is not just by you getting a certifications that you can actually think that film is this way. But when you go on set, reality hits you, it's going to be a lot more different. Okay,
Mm,
so we have honor, we have respect, passion, creativity, uh, you know, those kind of things that to let them evolve because I want them to evolve and work hand in hand with each other. Everybody work with each other. Communications is one of them as well. So they communicate all the time. So we always in the chat group together. We always communicate with one another. So I understand what they are thinking, even joking or poking fun at each other. That's it. So usually we don't yell or whatever. I don't yell at my guys. You know, if you do something wrong, you'll be a dead meat because we're gonna be poking fun on you all the time. If you make one silly mistake, okay, you'll be a joke of the week. That's it. So you either get become a joke of the week or you do your job properly. Okay, and then also yeah, it happens all the time. It even happens to me as well. You think what you are the boss, you can get away. No, man.
All fair
So
play, huh?
all fair play, all fair play. Because sometimes you either say something wrong or everybody just come running at you, which is a good thing because I think leader as a leader, you are the directions of where they're heading to.
Mm.
As long they see where you're going and they respect that and they follow you, when you go to that terms, you see the result, everybody's happy. There was one time we did this TV series that everybody know the first time we did such a big TV series. Everybody worked their ass off, worked really hard, working with each other, working with the cast and everything. And during the rap party, I was drunk.
Oh,
Yeah, I was drunk because I was so happy. It's not because I was so upset. But of course, it's not very perfect. But then again, we are happy because at the end, right, of this journey, you either have a happy journey or you have a sad memory. Yeah. I personally experienced really, really bad memory back in 2013 when I shoot a certain project. Okay, that was completely an ego trip for the directors, producers. Not the investor, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't know. So I experienced so many bad vibes before, so I don't want to bring it on set. It's always about
mm.
communications. So at least they learn how to communicate with one another. Whether you are local people or you're foreigner or whatever ethnic group you are, doesn't matter. Because we as human beings, we either work together and succeed, or we become failure, become enemy. What's the point in it? But do know that a lot of people will have their ego in front before their work ethics. They want to present themselves, they are much more better than you, much more clever than you, but nothing being done. For me, yes, my knowledge maybe have or surpass a lot of people, but I don't want to tell myself that my knowledge is better than you. Yes, I have a position, but my ears are open to listen because it's better that way. Then after that, when you plead your case, I'll plead my case to see which works, which does not. Because ultimately, goal is to really win the day by working together. So it's very important to have this brother and sisterhoodship and honor your words and your actions. So most of the people, most of my guys and girls, they understand that. So when it comes to communication, everybody throw things around in a way that okay, this, everybody knows what they're doing. So they stand by, they know what they're doing, go. And at the end, they go home safe and they're happy, they're well paid. And that's it. Because ultimately, we need to respect one another rather than just thinking that you're knowledgeable or you want to put the weight down. Unless somebody who actually trying to be like, oh, you never praise me, you never. Those kind of people, you can just ask them to get lost because those
Mm.
are attention seekers. We don't need that, you see. We are not here to become famous. We come here to do a job. I always tell them that, look, if the director spotted you thinking that you are good looking, you can fight, you can do all these things, you got a role, good. That's a door for you. Go. I will never stop you because I want you to be evolved as well. Because that's how you carry one another up. Yeah. I don't, oh, you're better than me, pull you down. No, 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 no. Why? Why? It's a good thing. It's a good karma. You know what I mean? When they go up, you see the, hey, this guy trained with us before. He was this, we joke about him. It's it's relatively you happy for that person. Like my friend like Eco always Joe Taslim. Wow, I see them go like Joe Taslim do this what a Mortal Kombat. I was so happy for him. I say, hey bro, I'm happy for you, man. That's awesome, man. Then I say, well, you look better than the rest, so no, please do know that. you know. So and then my friend Eco, he was in Snake Eyes. You doesn't look like a snake eyes, but you have a pair of eyes.
Ah,
you know,
Henry
you know what I
Golding is
mean?
taking that one, right? Snake Eyes.
Yeah, snake eyes. Well, Henry Golding, yeah, he's good looking and everything, but mm, uh,
Well, let's
why?
just hope the action picks up. Ah.
It might be, but well, we're expecting somebody else is better. You know what I mean?
I mean, the original Snake Eyes was played by Ray. What was his name?
Ray Park,
Uh,
Ray Park.
Ray Park.
I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I think it
Is
was
the
Ray Park. Yeah.
is the Star Wars guy, Darth
Yeah,
Maul.
yes, the Darth Maul guy.
Yeah, but at the end, it's still a business, lah, unfortunately.
Mm.
But then again, you tend to like you either kill it or use it properly. So which I'm not here to try to commend that. But what I'm trying to say is just that I've been through a lot of different sets, and I've been through a lot of good sets as well. Headshot was I can tell you that the set that I went through was the happiest one is called If You Need Me, Perth. Okay, Perth, Headshot, The Night Come for Us, Fly by Night.
Mm.
Uh, what else? Uh, Only that few for now. And with that few, I did tattoo on them because I'm a Buddhist guy, a Buddhist. Yeah. I do this satyan. I do
Okay.
tattoos on them when they're good projects, so I can remember them. So I do all these things just to like remember them because they are such a good productions, and I learned so much in that single trip of to work. So you tends to be like you know what is collaboration is. Of course, there bounce at bits of problem here and there, but you look at the way that how people work, the efficiency of how the way they work. So I want my guys to be the same, but sometimes it just we don't have the opportunity to do it because there's so many red tapes now. There's this, there's
Yeah.
that. It's just like you can't change that, but you slowly try to find ways that if you have the chance to really improve on that, once they see that they want to take ownership of what they do too. You know what I mean? Some people just whether you like it or Singaporean does want to take ownership of what they do too. You look at some of the fried kway teow or maybe nasi lemak or whatever it is food, right? Even though they know they're old already, but they're still cooking. They just want you to taste their best food. They take ownership of what they do. Yeah. Same thing goes for Singaporean. I know for a fact. But it's just that the policy or maybe the rules, there's so many things there. Why? You know? But then again, that's for politicians, that's not my problem. What
That's
we're trying to say, just trying to say that just that Singapore can have their own a little bit of heaven if they wanted to. I created my own because my guys are happy, I'm happy, because I know that at the end of it, we rode this boat together rather than my ego. I always tell them that our ego should be in the work. When we see it, that's our ego. But in real time when we're working, we are all fair, we are all work together because we're working towards a common goal that we want to make this good product and show that hey, we can do this too. You know what I mean? We take pride in what we do.
yeah. Thank you so much for that. That was wonderful, and I love all of those points. And I think I found definitely already. That's the intro clip right there.
Thank you, thank you,
Awesome.
thank you,
All right.
thank you, thank you.
Now, we thank you so much for spending over an hour with us today. And there's
Okay.
always one last segment that I always do with all my guests. All right, and that is a rapid fire 10 question questionnaire. All right.
Okay.
So that being said, Sunny Pang, with the epic questionnaire, are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Question number one. One word you love the most.
One word the most. Huh?
You can't tell whether that's a question or an exclamation or a
Yeah.
piece of joy or sorrow. You
Yeah.
can't tell it what it is.
Yes, that is my question. That's my answer.
Question number two. The word that you dislike the most.
Do it again.
Hmm. If you could have a conversation with one person, dead or alive, fictional or non fictional, who would that be?
Hmm. My father.
Hmm. What do you say to yourself in the mirror every morning?
You ugly mud.
Name one superpower that you'd like to have.
Ah, wow. That's a tough one. I think I would have hmm, two-person mixed together. Um, Tony Stark and Iron Man and Batman. If they mix together, I'll take that.
Iron Man and Batman. So you want the technology and you want the grit. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, yes.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Either that or you wanted a red suit and a deep voice. I'm not sure.
No, well.
Favorite dish to eat?
Favorite dish. Hmm. Fried rice.
Fried rice. Fried rice. You
Fried
do you
rice.
you're in the UK right now, but I'm sure that you miss it a lot.
No, I do cook myself, so I know how to fried rice. Yeah, so
Okay,
I
let's
get the
send another.
ingredients and I cook.
Yeah, well, send a video to Uncle Roger. Let's see what happens.
I'll get slapped and psh.
Uncle Roger. Okay. Now, your favorite travel spot or the next travel spot that you like to bring your family to once borders open up?
Once borders open up, I think Japan. No, no, no,
Hmm.
sorry, Korea. Korea.
Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. South or north, please?
Sounds of what?
South or north Korea?
Also, of course, it's south, not north, man. I'll be probably executed and get kidnapped or something. Jeez.
Hey, you never know. You could open up a Ronin Action Group in North Korea, the first ever action group for North Korean film.
Sure. When I wake up, I'm actually in their cell, jail cell.
Yeah, that's what they call the studio.
Yeah, the studio. Yeah, that's right. In my dream.
Okay, this is lot 24A. All right. Now you're also in the arts, okay? But let's say, for example, something in the arts that you've always wanted to do, but you've haven't yet have yet to do.
Play musical instrument.
Which one?
Saxophone.
Saxophone. I can tell you're a romantic guy, huh? All
Mhm.
right. What does retirement look like to you?
Have my own house near the beach. My wife, my family. That's it.
That's enough, right?
Yeah.
All right. Last question. How do you want to be remembered? What's your legacy?
Wow. I can't tell you for a fact that I want to be remembered in such a way, such a great actor whatsoever. But at least remember that I started something different to try to improve the filming industry, commercial film or films alike. At least that is good enough for me. One of the pioneers. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So that was Sunny with the epic questionnaire. Again, thank you so much, Sunny, for spending an hour. And I know it's in the morning over there in the UK. You know, and for all those who are really, really keen in stuntmanship, action, go catch these movies over on Netflix. I won't tell you to bootleg it, but find a way to go and watch it because they are really cool. All right, and check this guy out in action. All right. At the same time, speaking of action, check out Ronin in Action at Ronin in Action for a lot of behind the scenes stuff on Instagram as well. All right. And last but not least, giving him all the support. Share some with me too. All right. Like, comment, and subscribe to Epic Podcasting over at Instagram. Also, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Also available on Spotify and wherever else you get your audio podcasts. All right. So, with that, I'm Edric, and that's Jesus Christ. I keep getting it wrong. Okay, here's Sunny on this side. All right, joining us in the Epic Podcast. Now, Sunny, is there anything else like you like to add on to the for the audience?
I think the most importantly right now for all the audience and the fans alike, I hope that you guys stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask, and I would chant for everybody's safety, and hopefully that this COVID will go away. So as not the border will opens and everybody will go normalize their life again. This is the tough time. Everybody have to bite the bullet, take the vaccine, and pull through. We can fight this. With your help, we'll see a better day. Sure.
All right. Thanks again, man. Thanks so much. And we will see you next week. Bye, everyone. Take care.
See you, man.